Should we start?
Yes.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. In our last session, we had done up to 46 shloka. Pratyak paroksha taikasya sadvitiyatvam purnata virudyate yatas tasmat lakshana sampravartate. Now, in our last session, इत्थम अन्योन्य तादात्म्य प्रतिपत्तिर यदा भवेत् अब्रह्मत्वं त्वमर्थस्य व्यावर्तेत तदैव हि तदा एव हि. So इत्थम in this way, in this manner, अन्योन्य तादात्म्य, when there is a mutual identity, अन्योन्य तादात्म्य, mutual identity or oneness between this tat and tvam pada, yada bhavet abrahmatvam tvam arthasya. Now in ignorance, the meaning of tvam that we come up with is that it is jiva. So it cannot be Brahman. So abrahmatvam tvam arthasya. So the meaning of tvam as not Brahman, vyavarteta, it ends. That ignorance ends immediately. So then there is oneness, there is a recognition that this jiva is also Brahma Swarupa, Tat and Tvam. They are one. It is Brahma Swarupa. When there is a Bheda Jnana, when there is a Parokshata, there is a Bheda Jnana, there is a duality, Dvaita, I am there and then there are others and all that. All our problems begin with this, with the sense of duality, sense of otherness. And then all the problems begin. In the deep sleep state, temporarily there is no sense of duality. There is no sense of otherness, no duality. And therefore, we do not have any problems in the deep sleep state. However much a tragedy must have collapsed over us during the waking plane or the dream state, as soon as we enter the deep sleep state, it doesn't touch us. There is no fear, there is no sorrow, no misery, nothing, absolutely. Because there is absolutely, that is the non-dual state. There is no sense of otherness there. Actually, mind creates the sense of duality. In the absence of mind, there is no sense of duality. That is why Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi always talks about Manonasha, not Manolaya. Manolaya is a temporary thing, like deep sleep state is a temporary state. How long we can sleep, how long we can be in deep sleep state, then the force of our prarabdha will pull us out of bed. And then we'll be back into the activities. Many years ago, one pilot of Air India, he had got the promotion of captain. So he came to meet me. I was staying somewhere in somebody's place. And then he was telling about his interview. He had gone for this post to Air India for the interview. And he saw that there were other applicants who were more experienced and more qualified. But luckily for him, or fortunately for him, he got the job. So he was wondering how did he get the job when there were other candidates who were more experienced and more qualified also. Then people told him it is because of your prarabdha, your destiny, your prarabdha. So then he asked me a question, if it is in my prarabdha to live and have food, if it is in my prarabdha, if everything is decided by prarabdha, if everything is there, then I should not be doing anything. It will come by destiny. I should keep lying in bed and everything come just like that. So I said, yeah, if it is in your prarabdha to sit and do nothing and have your needs taken care of, then of course it will happen like that. But if it is not in your prarabdha, then your prarabdha, your destiny will wake you out of bed and put you back into the cockpit of the aircraft. So for that also prarabdha is required, just to sit and do nothing. So it is the destiny. So therefore, this deep sleep state is temporary. We cannot be continuous in deep sleep state. Our destiny will pull us out of the deep sleep state and put us into activity. The prarabdha. And then that is how we get into, and then all the duality and everything begins. Then karta bhokta bhava. Then the ephemeral fleeting joys and sorrows, happiness and misery, pleasure and pain and everything begins. So itham anyonya tadatmya, then jiva jagata ishvara bheda ends. Now jiva jagata ishvara is nothing but Brahman alone, that absolute truth alone. We have earlier seen that Ishvara with Sattva Guni Maya Upadhi is Ishvara. Brahman with Sattva Guni Maya Upadhi is Ishvara. Then we have Jiva. Jiva is what? Jiva is same Brahman with Rajoguni Maya Upadhi. That is Jiva. And same Brahman with Tamoguni Maya as Upadhi is Jagata. So it is only Jiva Jagata Ishwari is by the Bheda of Upadhi or the conditioning. Conditioning of Sattva-guni Maya on Brahman is Ishvara. Conditioning of Rajoguni Maya on that Brahman is Jiva. And conditioning of Tamoguni Maya on that Brahman is the Jagata. So if the Upadhi is negated, then what remains is nothing but Brahman. Looking at Brahman as Jagat is wrong. Looking at Jagat as Brahman is the right approach. So everything that we see is nothing but an absolute truth alone. What it appears and what it is there in reality, there is a difference. So itham anyonya tadatmya pratipattir yada bhavet abrahmatvam. So when this anyonya mutual identity is fully established between the tat and tvam, then of course, then we recognize ourselves as Brahma Swarupa, and immediately the difference of Jiva Jagati Ishvara vanishes, disappears. It is only because of ignorance that we suffer like this. Tadhartasya paroksham yad evam kim tatashvanu. So once this Jiva and Ishvara, when it is established that is identical, it is the Upadhi Bheda only, then what? Purnananda Ekarupena Pratyak Bodha Avatishtate. Purnananda Ekarupena, that is the Lakshartha of Tatpada, that is Ishvara. The Lakshartha is Purnananda Ekarupena. And Lakshartha of Jiva is Pratyak Bodha, or the witnessing consciousness. So this witnessing consciousness within and Purnananda Eka, one homogeneous mass of consciousness, homogeneous mass of consciousness, indivisible, akhanda, unbroken, blissful consciousness, blissful awareness. that itself is the Sakshi Chaitanya, or the witnessing consciousness, or this witnessing consciousness itself is one, non-dual, indivisible mass of bliss, or pure blissful awareness. Purnananda Ekarupena Pratyabodha Avatishtate. Then, Tattvamasya Vakyam cha Tadatmya Pratipadane Lakshav Tattvam Padartho Dvau Upadaya Pravartati. So in this Mahavakya Tattvamasi, this Tat was established as Advayananda and Tvam was established as Sakshi Chaitanya, Pratyak Bodha. So this meaning is accepted after the Anubhav Pramana. It's Pramana at various stages that is important for us to keep on track. Shastra Pramana, Yukti Pramana, Drishtanta Pramana, Anubhav Pramana, they are all important. That is how we accept the statements of the scriptures. Without the Pramana, the scriptures are not accepted, the statements are not accepted. That is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. Anyone can make any statement, but then he has to prove it by Shruti Pramana, Yukti Pramana, Drishtanta Pramana, and Anubhav Pramana. Then only that is accepted. That freedom is given. You can make any statement, but then you have to prove it. If it is unproven, that is not accepted. So therefore, there is no blind following as such. That whatever is given, you have to accept it and no questions asked. No, that is not in Sanatana Dharma. Hitva dvau shabalo vachav vakyam vyakyartha bodhena yatha pravartate asmabhihi tatha vyakyatam adarat. So hitva dvau shabalo vachav, this qualified meaning of these two, that is the tat and tvam. That is the Upadhi Rahit meaning. What is the Upadhi Sahit meaning? Upadhi Sahit meaning of Ishvara is he is the Sarvajna Sarva Api Sarva Shaktiman, omniscient, omnipresent and omnipotent. And then Upadhi of this of Jiva is having Karta Bhokta Bhava, Sukhi Dukhi, and a sense of otherness, living in duality, and all that thing. So these are discarded. Hitva. So the qualified meaning, the upadhis are discarded. Vakya vakarta bodhena, bodhane. Yatha pravartate asmabhihi tatha vakyatam adara. So then Lakshartha was taken as Pratyak Bodha of Tvam or Jiva and Purnananda Ekarupena, that is one blissful self. That is the Ishvara or Tatpada. That was taken. And that is how it was established, Tattvam. So that has been commented upon here. Then, Alambanataya Yaha Asmat Pratyaya Shabdayo Antakarana Sambhinnaha Bodha Satvam Padavidaha. So here again the Shabdartha of Tvampada was explained. So we arrive at the Shabdartha of Tvampada. That is the word meaning of this Tvampada. So word meaning was, one can understand, here Alambanataya, I. So word meaning is qualified by that. The Tvam is taken as nothing but I. Where does I appear? I appear in the Antakarana or the mind-intellect equipment where the consciousness is reflected. In that reflection, this I appears, and because of that, Chidabhasa, it appears sentient. That is the Jiva. And then this Jiva, this one identifies with the body, mind, intellect equipment, and then its modification also, and becomes Karta, Bhokta, and so on. So without this thought, I thought, either I thought or consciousness, there ego cannot come into play, just like that. So this I thought has to be there. This I thought is absent temporarily in the deep sleep state. Therefore, ego is absent temporarily there. So therefore, one can sleep and one is free of all the worldly troubles, the sorrows and miseries that troubles the person in the waking plane or in the dream state. That is free from that, because the ego is not there to identify with the waking plane of consciousness or dream state. Neither of these two states are there. So that is why, so because of this identity, and then this antakaran is also limited. Mind body equipment, mind intellect equipment is limited. Antakaran is limited, and therefore this jiva feels limited. And because of this sense of limitation, there is a sense of incompleteness, and therefore jiva is restless for fulfillment, for completeness. And then the vikshepa goes on. The projections of the mind goes on. How can I find a sense of fulfillment? The desires come, then desires puts us into action. Action gives results. Depending upon the results, we want to either, if the result was favorable and it gave us some kind of happiness, then we want to repeat it again and again. And if it gave a negative result, then it causes distress, anguish, and so on. Depending upon the results of the action, we continue and we are caught up in that again and again. And then we cannot come out of that. So this is the jiva. This is the shabdartha, the word meaning of jiva. So with upadi, this jiva is limited ego, limited aham. And when these upadis are transcended, or when the ego dissolves and there is no identity with these upadis or the conditionings, then jiva is nothing but purna bodha, pure blissful self, the awareness, pure blissful awareness. Then it was also explained the shabdartha of tatpada also. What is the shabdartha of tatpada? Mayopadir jagad yonihi sarvajñatvadi lakshanam paroksha shabala satyat atmakah tatpadavi. So Mayopadi, now with this Tat as Ishvara, so the Supreme Brahman, pure self, or the absolute truth, expresses as the Samashti Vasana, or the total impressions, that is Maya. Upadi, when it is expresses through that. So he is Ishvara. So Ishvara as Maya is the Upadi. And like the Jiva has got the gross, subtle and causal body. Similarly, Ishvara has also got gross, subtle and causal body. So its gross, subtle and causal body we have seen, Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Avyakta, that which is unmanifest, the causal body. So Virat is the gross body, Hiranyagarbha, that is the golden womb, that is the subtle body, that is unmanifest, and then it will manifest. Then Avyakta is the unmanifest cause, the causal body. So this is the Mayopadik Ishvara. Then of course they have the, like we have the Jagrut Purush, Swapna Purush. The Jagrut Purush is Vaishva, and then Swapna Purush is Tejasa, and the Sushupti Purusha is Pradnya. So similarly here, the Samashti Vyashti, at the Samashti level, gross body is the Vaishvanara, Sutratma and Antaryami. So gross body, Abhimani. So Virat Purush Abhimani is the Vaishvanara, and then Hiranyagarbha, that is the subtle body Abhimani, is the Sutratma, and the causal body Abhimani is the Antaryami. So this is the word meaning, that is Shabdartha. Now there are two different things. So Tvampada, Shabdartha, Jiva, different meaning is there, limitations are there. And here Ishvara, again Maya Upadi is there. and then Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman and all that. So this is the word meaning of Tat and Tvam, Ishvara and Jiva. Now the problem is what? Pratyak parokshataikasya sadvitiyatva purnata virudyate yatah tasmat lakshana sampravartate. Now, if this word meaning is accepted, pratyaksha parokshata ekasya. So what is the word meaning here? Pratyaksha and paroksha. Jiva is immediate, pratyaksha. We as Jiva, we feel, we are immediate, we have our own experience. And Ishvara is paroksha, something yonder, we do not have any experience about that. So pratyak and paroksha. Then dvitiya tva purnata. Then there is the experience of duality, manyness. As a Jiva, we have experience of manyness. We see the names and forms, multitudes of names and forms, and there is a sense of otherness. Manyness is there, duality is there. And Ishvara is Purnata. So Pratyaksha, one is immediate and one is at a distance, away. And then there is a sense of duality and sense of otherness is there. And then oneness is there, Purnata. And to say that these two are one, that is not acceptable. That is very difficult to accept. So, identity can be between two entities having similar qualities. That can be accepted. But two entities having diametrically opposite qualities, there cannot be an identity between them. If superficially, if it is seen like this, then there cannot be an identity at all. One is limited being, the other is samashti, vyashti, samashti, totality, individuality, totality, and the upadhis are different. One has a sense of otherness, duality is there. In other, there is no sense of duality at all, ekameva advitiya. So, when these are taken and then it is said that that itself is this, tattvam, that Ishvara, that tat is what you are. So, this limited being compared to that unlimited being, they are one. So that is diametrically opposite and is not acceptable. When it is not acceptable, if we go only by word meaning, then it is not acceptable. Then the meaning of Tvam is Jiva with all the limitations, meaning of Tat is Ishvara, that Brahman with the Maya Upadhi, and Ishvara is fully aware of his Satchidananda Swarupa. And then Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman and all that. So how can these two be one? So that is not acceptable. So up to here we had seen in our last session. Now, what then is the suggestive meaning of a word or a statement? How do we arrive at it? Now, Adi Shankaracharya defines the Lakshana method, that is the indirect meaning, how we arrive at it. In Shlok 47, here it is said now. Manantara virodhe tu mukhyarthasya parigrahe mukhyartho na vina bhute mukhyarthe na vina bhute pratitir lakshanochyate. Manantara virodhe tu mukhyarthasya parigrahe mukhyarthena avinabhute pratitihi lakshana uchyate. Now, if there is an anomaly, or there is, if we directly accept the word meaning, it is not giving the proper meaning of it. The bhava doesn't come out if word meaning is accepted. Then we have to add something or delete something or something like that to make a sense out of that. Because we cannot make a sense out of this particular statement, then something has to be added or something has to be removed to make a sense out of that. Or both has to be done, something like that. So this is a technique given in the scriptures, in the Shastras. They are called as Jahati Lakshana, Ajahati Lakshana, and Jahat Ajahati Lakshana. So what is this Jahati Lakshana? Jahati Lakshana is the reject method. Ajahati is the accept method, and Jahati Ajahati is reject accept method. So what is this reject method, Jahati Lakshana? Example is like if somebody says that my house is just on the sea, or right on the sea, just on the sea. Now this is a statement. Now if the word meaning is accepted, that will not make a sense. How can anybody have his house on the sea, on the ocean, floating house? How it is? So that cannot be accepted. So the indicative meaning is drawn that what he means to say is that his house is very close to the sea, very close to the ocean, very near the ocean. So just on the sea or just there. So this is a way of deriving the meaning. So this is on the sea is rejected. It cannot be on the sea. So we take it as it should be near the sea, very close to the sea. So this is called a Jahati Lakshana or reject method. Some part is rejected and a meaning, a sense meaning is drawn out. What he actually means to say is that his house is very close to the sea. When he says right on the sea or just on the sea, so one should not take the literal meaning that, oh, his house is on the ocean. So this is called as Jahati Lakshana or reject method. Then Ajahati Lakshana. Ajahati Lakshana is the statement when it is heard that doesn't give a complete meaning. Then something is added to that and the meaning is completed. Now, say for example, two people are discussing, talking, and then one fellow says that today the black won. Now the other person knows what topic is being discussed. Now the statement is just heard, today the black won. The black one, we do not know what this black is. So the topic of discussion may be a horse race. So then when he says the black one, the other one understands that the black horse won. Black color cannot win. Black horse has won. Or the white ran. Today the white also ran. So that means the white horse ran. So this, when they are discussing about some race, and the other fellow adds the word to that. So something is, it is accepted and something is extra is added and accepted. Then the meaning is completed. So the black won or the white also ran, something like that. So the black horse won, the white horse ran, or something. So this is called as accept method, Ajahati Lakshana. Then there is Jahat Ajahati Lakshana, that is reject accept method. Now reject accept method is certain things are rejected and certain things are accepted out of that statement. So now if one example is taken that this sannyasi you see in Kashi is the same one you saw 20 years ago in Delhi, the businessman. So 20 years ago in Delhi was businessman. Today he is a sannyasi in Kashi on the banks of Ganges. So now 20 years ago, the time is different, the place is different, the profession is different, and the form is different, and the garments are different. He is wearing the saffron robe, and there he was a businessman, suited and booted. So the other things are rejected. The place, time, the profession, and the dress and everything is rejected. And then the common thing is taken. Common thing is the same person. Was there in Delhi, now he's here. 20 years later, he's in Kashi. So after 20 years, the difference is that. So time is rejected, the place is rejected, the form is rejected, the profession is rejected, the dress is rejected, but the person is the same. Who was in Delhi is the same person here. So this is called certain things are rejected, certain things are accepted. So the person is accepted, he's the same one who is in Delhi, who now is seen in Varanasi or in Kashi. Is the same person. So that is accepted. The other things are rejected, which are dissimilar. The places are different, times are different, professions are different, the dress is different, and so on. So these are the ways when word meaning doesn't give a sense, a complete sense of the statement. When a statement is there and we cannot draw sense out of that, this is something incomplete or something is lacking or it doesn't make any sense, then something is rejected out of that or something is added to that or something is rejected and something is added to make a sense out of that statement. So this is the technique given in the scriptures. Now, of these three methods, which is to be accepted for comprehending the meaning of the great statement that Tattvamasi? So that is said in Shlok 48. Tattvamasyadi vakyeshu lakshana bhaga lakshana soyamityadi vakyastha padoyorivana para. Tattvamasyadi vakyeshu lakshana bhaga lakshana saha ayam iti adi vakyastha padayoho iva na aparaha. So now Bhaga Lakshana, this is also called as Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana or reject accept method or Jahati Ajahati Lakshana, they are all the same. So if we take the example of the businessman in Delhi and the sannyasi in Kashi. So if the word meaning of this businessman and the sannyasi that is given up, we have to arrive at the correct meaning of the person. So in Tvam and Tat, principle of consciousness is the same. The person in the businessman of Delhi and the sannyasi of Kashi, the person is same. So consciousness in Tat and Tvam is the same. Same conscious principle is there. Only there is a difference of upadhis. So because of this upadhi difference, Vyashti and Samashti at the individual level and at the totality level, the difference is of upadhis. If these upadhis are rejected, then in essence they are the same. So here this Bhagatyaga Lakshana or Jahati Ajahati Lakshana only can be applied here. There is no other way it can be, if the correct meaning can be drawn. By rejecting this Vyashti and Samashti, that individual and total upadhis or the conditionings, that is of Jiva and Ishvara, what is left is one essential pure self. That's all. Both this Sakshi Chaitanya and Purnananda Eka Rupena is nothing but the same pure self or Brahman, the absolute truth, the substratum of this creation of multitudes of names and forms. So it is same Brahman appearing as Ishvara with Sattva Guni Maya Upadhi, same Brahman appearing as Jiva with Rajoguni Maya as Upadhi, same Brahman appearing as Jagat with Tamoguni Maya as Upadhi. So Jiva Jagata Ishvara is nothing but that Brahman alone. Rejecting the Upadhis or the conditioning, what remains is Brahman, whether Jiva, Jagata or Ishvara. So seeing at Ishvara, we are seeing the Brahman, absolute truth. Seeing at the Jagata, it should remind us that the substratum, the absolute truth, and Jiva also, nothing but that absolute truth alone. So, Tvampada Shodhanam in Tattvamasi, Tvam, that is thou. So, this Shodhanam, that is the analysis of this Tvampada. The ultimate is transcending, is to transcend the Panchakosha. What is this Tvampada Shodhanam is? Analysis, total analysis. Tvampada Shodhanam. To arrive at the correct meaning of Tvampada, we have to go to the analysis. Tvampada Shodhanam is this analysis. That whether I am any of these Panchakoshas, the gross physical body, the sense organs, the Pranamaya Kosha or the vital air, the Manomaya Kosha, or the mind sheath, the Jnanamaya Kosha, or the intellectual sheath, or this Anandamaya Kosha, or this causal body, the bliss sheath, whether I am any of these. So that is the Tvampada Shodhanam. And thoroughly analyzing this and transcending the Panchakosha, that is Tvampada Shodhanam. That is Vyatireka Sadhana. Rejecting one by thoroughly analyzing that how I cannot be any of these. That is the Tvampada Shodhanam. And then this Tatpada Shodhanam is to see everything as nothing but that supreme reality. Then Ishwar is also the same, Jagat is also the same, Jiva is also the same, everything is same, the substratum. When the focus is on the substratum, the projection on that is not given value. The focus is on the substratum always. The substratum only appears as the projection. Because projection is illusory, the substratum is real. When we are looking at the projection, we are actually looking at the substratum. When we are looking at the play of light and sound in the cinema hall, we are actually looking at the screen, which is the substratum. Whether on that screen is the reality, and the play of light and sound is the projection there on that. Sometimes a tragedy, sometimes a comedy, sometimes action will be played on that. But the reality is the screen. Because the projection that is there on the substratum doesn't affect the substratum. The play of light and sound that is projected on the cinema screen doesn't affect the cinema screen. In that play of light and sound, something will be shown as burning, but that doesn't burn the cinema screen. Or something, an ocean is shown, but that doesn't wet the cinema screen. So it is something like that. So this projection is there. That is the Samashti Mana, that is the total mind. The projection of the total mind is this Srishti, is this creation. And the projection of the individual mind is our own individual dream. So this is what it is. When we understand that, then we see everything as nothing but the pure self. Now, this is an important part. What is that? Even after gaining this exact understanding, okay, now we have thoroughly understood. There is no doubt about this Tat and Tvam, the Lakshartha, the Shabdartha, the word meaning, and the indicative meaning, and all that thing we have thoroughly understood. So, identity between individual self and the supreme self. But the problem is that even after gaining this understanding of this in-depth meaning and all that thing, it will not be easy to have a firm understanding or to firmly be established in that. So how to get it firmly established in ourselves? So that is what is the subject of the 49th shloka. So Adi Shankaracharya says, there is no need to despair. We can get fully established in that knowledge. How is that? In the 49th shloka it is said, Aham Brahmeti Vakyartha Bodho Yavadrudi Bhavet Shamadhi Sahitastavad Abhyase Shravanadikam Aham Brahma iti Vakyartha Bodha Yavadrudi Bhavet. So, Shamadhi Sahitah Tavad Abhyaset Shravanadikam. So, I am Brahman, Aham Brahma iti, I am Brahman, until we fully get established in that. Then what we are supposed to do? Shamadhi Sahita Tavad, until then. Shamadhi Sahita, that is all the sadhana that we have to do, Shama, Dama, Parama, that is the control of the mind, control of the sense organs, and all that thing, Sahita Tavad, Abhyase Shravanadikam. And the study should continue. Shravanadikam. That is Shravanam, Mananam, Niridhyasanam. What we are doing now is the Shravana Sadhana. Listening to the scriptures is Shravana Sadhana. Having heard the scriptures, then we have to do the Mananam. That is reflecting on what we have heard. so that whatever doubts they must have arisen or queries we may have, that gets solved. And then Niridhyasana is to get firmly established in that knowledge. So here it is said that the sadhana has to continue. So just listening to a text, listening to the scriptures, and then okay, now we have done Atma Bodh and Saddarshan and Drigdarsha Vivek and all that thing, Advaita Makaranda and all that. So now we are fully established. So now what to do now? So I have completed the study and the book is kept in the cupboard. After that, what? I'm still where I am. There is no change in me. So therefore, after the theory, there has to be practice. Only with practice, we can get that. Just writing honey 1,000 times on a piece of paper, we cannot get the taste of honey. So for that, we have to get out, go to the market, go to the relevant shop, buy the bottle of honey, bring it home, open it, and then dip a spoon and taste it. That is how we get the taste of honey. So just writing honey, honey, honey 1,000 times, that will not give us the taste. The practical side has to be seen. Similarly, just having a blueprint of a house is not the house. Then it has to be implemented. We have to work on that. So now we have got this. It is not easy to convert paroksha jnana into aparoksha bodha. Now what we have acquired is the paroksha jnana. Now we know, theoretically we know, yes, this is a possibility. Theoretically we know. Now practically we have to gain that experience, that awareness, that bodha. That practically we have to gain. And why there is a time gap between paroksha jnana and aparoksha bodha? It can be instant also. Those who are uttamadhikaris, one vakya is enough. Tattvamasi, and he realizes aham brahmasmi. That is for uttamadhikari. So what about the others? Others, why can't they realize it instantly as the uttamadhikari realize it, or ati uttamadhikari? Just one statement is enough. For uttamadhikari, one Upanishad is enough. Ati uttamadhikari, one statement is enough. For Nisargadatta Maharaj, he was taken by his friend to a satsang. That friends, some Guruji had come, so he took Nisargadatta Maharaj along with him. Come for my Guruji's satsang. And in that satsang, Guruji happened to say, you are Brahma Swarupa, generally in the satsang. And Nisargadatta Maharaj took it personally, I am Brahma Swarupa. And then while making bidi, he started contemplating on that statement, I am Brahma Swarupa, how can I be Brahma Swarupa? And mind you, he must have completed his all the scriptural study and everything in his past life, because in his present life he didn't do anything. He was not educated, he was just a bidi maker. But because of his Purvajanma Samskara, he continued contemplating on that. He was an Ati Uttamadhikari, one statement, and he realized it. And nothing else has to be done. So what is the reason why there is a gap between paroksha jnana and aparoksha bodha? The reason is nothing but our own mental blocks. We have our own mental blocks, doubts, temptations, and moreover, it is atishay chanchala. Mind is also atishay chanchala. It doesn't remain on one subject for long. It keeps on jumping from one topic to another topic, one subject to another subject, one vastu, one object to another object. It keeps on going. Then it goes in time also, in past and future, it keeps oscillating between the two, refuses to remain in the present. So these are the badhas, these are the blocks, these are the obstacles. Why? The paroksha jnana, to convert paroksha jnana into aparoksha bodha takes time because of these obstacles. If these obstacles are not there, see, from ati uttam adhikari to a jidnyasu, in the levels of that, from jidnyasu, sadhaka, Adam Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari, Ati Uttam Adhikari, they are the different levels of evolutionary stages. Though they are at different levels, whether it is a Jidnyasu, ordinary Jidnyasu, or a Sadhaka or Ati Uttam Adhikari, they are essentially all Brahman only. But why the realization is taking time? Because of the mental blocks. For the Ati Uttam Adhikari, it is very least or negligible, or it is not there. Just one statement is enough and he realizes it. Whereas others, for that, there are too many obstacles. Obstacles basically is our own mind. Because our mind has collected a lot of things, lot of theories, lot of concepts, lot of ideas, lot of dogmas, opinions, and things like that. And we have to sift through that. Then we get attached to something, we find it difficult to give it up. So these are the things that blocks our realization. Why we cannot reach there as quickly as possible. So why it takes time to convert from Paroksha Jnana to Aparoksha Bodha. So once we get rid of that, even Vishwamitra, he was a Rajarshi and he wanted to become a Brahmarshi. So what was obstructing him? Thrice he sat for his tapas to become a Brahmarshi, and thrice he was some obstacles came and he fell into the trap unnecessarily. First time that Menka came, and then that was the obstacle for him. Then he got rid of that. Then again he sat for tapasya. Then again that the Kamdev came, and then he got annoyed and angry. And then again his tapasya was disrupted. Then again he sat for tapasya. See how the obstacles come. It is our own mind that is creating it. Now he wanted to be a Brahmarishi, and then one king went to Yoga Vasishta and requested him that I want to go to heaven with my present body, with the body. So Yoga Vasishta told him that I don't do any of these rituals for you to go with the body to heaven. So as soon as Vishwamitra heard about it, he's a Rajarshi. Now he was thinking himself to be in competition with Yoga Vasishta, but Yoga Vasishta never thought like that. So he said that, okay, he called the king, okay, if Yoga Vasishta doesn't want to do that ritual for you, I will do it for you. So then Vishwamitra, again he did that. And then this king went along with the body to Swarga, and those people rejected him. You can't come with the body from this earth. Martya Loka Deha you can't bring here. So he came back to Vishwamitra and said that they rejected me. So Vishwamitra, out of his own sankalpa, created a loka for this king to go there. And again, his sadhana to become Brahmarishi again was disrupted. So this is how blockages come, obstacles come, these disruptions happen. Our mind goes here and there unnecessarily, that Vishwamitra should have sat there and not get carried away by other things. But then these are the obstacles that come. So this is how we get distracted, and then there is a delay. Of course, eventually all of us will realize the truth. There is no doubt about that. Only thing is that there is a time factor. How much we allow our mind to distract us, it depends upon all that. The least distraction, the quicker we get. More distractions, the later, the longer it will take. That's all. So, Shamadhi Sahita, Tavat Abhyase Shravanadika. So, we have to continuously do our sadhana. Shravana Mananam Nididhyasanam, listening to the scriptures, reflecting on the scriptures, contemplating on scriptures. And it has to be continuously, we have to go on in that. So that is why spirituality is not a part-time job. It is a full-time job, 24 hours full-time job every moment. So whatever actions we do, even in our personal life also, whether we are at home, at our professional place, our action should express that divinity alone. In the mind, we all know that we are that Brahman appearing as Jiva. So our action should match that. So whatever words we are speaking, whatever thoughts or emotions we entertain in our mind, and whatever actions we do, that should reflect. That is how we are doing the 24-hour practice. And whenever we have time, or when we are traveling, sitting, so we can go on contemplating on the statements that we have heard. When once this direct experience of Brahman is gained through the grace of the teacher, the Sadguru, and the blessings of the scriptures, then what happens to the seeker? In the 50th shloka, Adi Shankaracharya says, Shrutyacharya prasadena dhrudo bodho yada bhavet nirasta shesha sansara nidana purushastada. Shruti acharya prasadena dhrudaha bodha yada bhavet nirasta shesha sansara nidana purushah tada. So this is Shruti Acharya Prasadena, by the grace of Guru and with the blessings of the scriptures. So when the sadhaka studies, by the grace of the Guru, the seeker, the sadhaka studies the scriptures, and the blessings of the scriptures, his ignorance ends. Dhrudo bodho sada tada bhavet, yada bhavet. Dhrudo bodho tada yada bhavet. So when he is firmly established in his pure self, then that is, he has got Atma Bodha, self-realization, he is established fully in his self, then Nirasta Shesha Sansara Nidanaha. So then he is free from all the sansara caused by ignorance. Sansara is nothing but because of our ignorance. The cause is our ignorance and nothing else. If there is no ignorance, there is no sansara. It is caused by our own ignorance. And that is Avarana and Vikshepa. First of all, this Mahamaya, so to say, it has veiled the truth, Avarana. And then the Vikshepa, the projection. And in that projection, we have our own projection. Projection inside a projection, like the reflection inside a reflection. If two mirrors are kept opposite to each other and one object is kept in the center, and when we look at each of the mirror, how many reflections will be there? Multitudes of reflection in each mirror of that one object seen in there. So one inside the other, one inside the other, Brahmanda inside the Brahmanda, projection inside the projection, Sansara inside the Sansara. So there is Ishvara Shrishti, inside the Ishvara Shrishti there is Jiva Shrishti. So projections inside the projections and inside the projection, it goes on like that. So that is why we suffer. And then this body, mind, intellect equipment we take as a self. And when we take that as a self, we have to suffer its limitations also. Not only its limitations, its modification also. So this body, mind, intellect, they have to go through modification. When we are identified with that, we take it as a self, then we suffer its modification, its limitations as well. So that is when our sufferings of sansara begins. When we identify with that, take it as a self. Sansarati iti sansara. So what is sansara? Where everything keeps on changing. Nothing remains the same. Continuously it is changing. It is moving non-stop. Where everything appears and disappears. Nothing is permanent. It is all ashashvat. Ashashvat, that is ephemeral, fleeting, momentary, impermanent, temporary. So that is the life of birth and death and going through this sorrows and shocks and everything. We have all kinds of fears, phobias, anxieties in this sansara. So all these ceases. It will cease to torture us once this dhrudo bodha yada bhave. Once we have a firm, when we are firmly established in ourselves, then it will cease to torture us. Then Jiva Bhava ends in Atma Bodha. So when there is no sankalpa to do anything or not to do anything or undo something, when that is not there, then there is a sign, that is a sign of spiritual evolution. You see, so past and the future no more troubles us because we live 100% in the present. It is a spontaneous expression of life. So this is the phala of Atma Bodha. All types of fears, anxieties, everything disappears because it was only our ignorance that was the major cause or the only cause of all our sufferings. When that ignorance goes away, then whatever the situation may be, we understand our focus is always on the substratum, not on what is projected on that. When we look at the ocean, the focus should be the substratum. When you look at the waves also, we should never forget that it is water alone. When you look at the mirage water, we should know it is the desert sand alone as a substratum on which this mirage water is projected. So, play of light and sound, the screen is important. Then what happens to the seeker? In the 51st shloka, Vishirna karya karanaha bhuta sukshmairanavrita vimukta karma nigadaha sadya eva vimuchyate. Vishirna karya karanaha bhuta sukshmaihi anavritaha vimukta karma nigadaha sadya eva vimuchyate. Now Vishirna karya karana, so gross body and its objects, they form the karya or the effect of these vasanas in the jiva. And what is the subtle body? The subtle body, that is the karana. Subtle body comprises of the three koshas, the pranamaya kosh, the manomaya kosh, and the vijnanamaya kosha, the three koshas, along with the senses. So they become the karana, instrument of experiences. Now, karya and karana, gross body and the subtle body. So to identify with this karya and karana, Vishirna karya karanaha bhuta sukshma anavrutaha. So bhuta sukshma, that is panchamahabhuta, the elements, and the gross and subtle elements, bhuta sukshma anavrutaha. And to live, to identify with that and to live at the level of the body, mind, intellect, equipment as jiva. This is what it is. Vishirna karya karanaha bhuta sukshma anavrutaha vimukta karma nigadaha sadya eva vimuchyate. Now this ego has got this karta bhukta bhava, and then when the ego ends, then of course vimuktaha karma nigadaha. Now that when karta bhukta bhava is gone, then there is no shackles or no bondage of any karma also remains. So all the actions is also destroyed. Sadya eva vimuchyate, and immediately sadya eva, that is immediately vimuchyate, attains liberation. He is liberated from everything. When one realizes the self at death, there is no further, his gross and subtle bodies are destroyed. After realization, the gross and subtle body both are destroyed. There is no again taking form again. He is out of the birth and death cycle completely. But the ignorant one, when he drops the body, then his gross body is of course destroyed, but not the subtle body. It will transmigrate and take another form somewhere else. So this will continue. But the one who has realized, then no more there is any relationship with anyone, because he has transcended the waking plane of consciousness. So transcending the subtle body is overcoming the transmigration. So this gross and subtle body both are transcended in realization of self. There is no fear of death whatsoever. That is the overwhelming fear of death. So that is transcended. In the 52nd shloka, prarabdha karma vegena jivan mukto yada bhavet Kinchit kalamanarabdha karma bandhasya sankshaye. Now here, prarabdha karma vegena jivan mukta yada bhavet, kinchit kalam anarabdha karma bandhasya sankshaye. So now the one who has realized with self-realization, both his sanchita and agami karmas are destroyed. The total stock of karmas, bank balance of karmas, that is sanchit karma, that is destroyed, that is burnt in the fire of knowledge of the self, as well as the agami karma, that which will fructify in future lives. So that is also burned to ashes with the knowledge. Now only prarabdha karma remains. Prarabdha karma is what? Those selected karmas from the sanchita karma which has fructified, which has now borne fruit or started giving results. So because of which we have got this present body. So that is, it is like a bullet fired from a gun or an arrow fired from a bow. So that bullet will go as far as there is a velocity in that, and then it will fall off. So if you shoot in the air, the bullet will go up to a certain height as far as the velocity is there. As long as the velocity is there, after that it will fall back. So similarly, now this is, the prarabdha karma is like a short bullet. So as long as the gati is there, the velocity is there, it will go, and then it will, once it gets over, it will drop off. Now, whose prarabdha? A Jivan Mukta, one who has realized, does he have prarabdha? The one who has realized the self, he neither has any sanchit karma, nor agami karma, nor prarabdha karma. Because who actually experiences the fruits of karma? The one who experiences the fruits of karma is the ego, isn't it? Ego, who is identified with the body, mind, intellect, equipment, he is the one who experiences it. Now for a Jivan Mukta, his ego is dissolved. So there is no, of course, Sanchita and Agami is not there. Even Prarabdha Karma is not there for him. So now his body will continue, because that Jiva who was there, who was identifying with his body, mind, intellect, equipment, because body is Jada. Body cannot experience anything. And Atma is pure. The self is pure. That also cannot experience anything like that. So it is in between the entity that Jiva is there, who is identifying with his body and experiencing everything. Now that Jiva is not there to claim it. So for who is this prarabdha? It is not, the Jivan Mukta doesn't have any prarabdha. Then his body will continue, because this was before realization of self that he took form in this world. So on exhaustion of Jagat Prarabdha, it has to be said Jagat Prarabdha. Not his own, Jagat Prarabdha, that is to be served by that Jivan Mukta. Maybe that Jivan Mukta has a mission in this world. So as long as that is to be served, that body will be there. As soon as that is over, that mission is over, the body will drop. It is the Jagat Prarabdha, it is said. So that as soon as that is served, the body drops. We come to the concluding shloka of this text. Nyastatishayananda Vaishnavam Paramam Padam Punaravruttirahitam Kaivalyam Pratipadyate. Nirasta Atishayanandam Vaishnavam Paramam Padam Punaravruttirahitam Kaivalyam Pratipadyate. So now, Nirasta Atishay Ananda, where there is no setting. Astama, Nirasta is Astama, where there is no setting. In short, it is eternal. Eternal and infinite bliss. Nirasta Atishay Ananda. There is Atishay Ananda, means there is no comparison to this kind of bliss. You cannot compare with any sukha that we can imagine. There is no comparison. You cannot compare it with any relative sukha. Vaishnavam, because relative sukha is always with the indulgence in the external things or beings. From there comes the relative sukha, and that is limited by time. It is momentary, fleeting, ephemeral. So now there is no comparison with that. And moreover, the relative sukha is dependent on external things. Here it is totally independent. One is always 24/7 in infinite blissful state. Now, Vaishnavam Paramam Padam. Now, when it is said Vaishnavam, Paramam Padam is not Vaikuntha. His Paramam Padam is not Vaikuntha or Vishnu Loka or something like that. No, it is the supreme abode, supreme reality. That is the infinite self, that alone. Punaha Avrutti Rahitam. Then there is no return from that. Once he has gone, Yad Gatvana Nivartante, Tadhama Paramam. Punaha Avrutti Rahitam, Kaivalyam Pratipadyate. Kaivalyam, where there is absolutely non-dual bliss. So, Kaivalya Pada, from where there is no return. Absolutely non-dual. Kevalam, Kaivalyam. So, with this text called Vakya Vritti, a discussion on Tattvamasi concludes here. Now here we have concluded the Shravana Sadhana of this Vakya Vritti. Now of course begins the Mananam and Nididhyasanam Sadhana. So this is just the beginning. So I'll make a beginning because we have to start Mananam and Nididhyasan from today itself. Shravana ends, but Mananam begins, and Shravana, the Nididhyasan also begins. So, very first shloka, Sarga Sthiti Pralaya Hetu Machintya Shaktim Vishveshwaram Vidita Vishwamananta Murtim Nirmukta Bandhanam Apara Sukham Purashim Shri Vallabham Vimala Bodha Ghanam Namami. So now begins the Mananam and Nididhyasan Sadhanam on this text called Vakya Vritti. Now, if anybody has got any questions on the text that we covered today, the portion that we covered, they may ask.
Swamiji, everybody is silent.
That is a good sign.
because from today onward, only it is Nididhyasan. Shravana is over.
Mananam and Nididhyasanam.
I think so, Swamiji. The Mananam is more towards the test now. Everybody is thinking what to answer and how to take it.
That is a good and exciting thing. You see, that is very interesting. Otherwise, we just do a text and then close it and keep it back in the cupboard, and then which is the next text, and when do we start it, and then it goes and we finish that, and then that text is put in the cupboard, and what is the next text? It doesn't make any sense. Now here there has to be a Mananam and Nididhyasan. We have to go like a real seeker, you see, a Vedantic seeker of knowledge. So we have to go through that process. So that will help us.
Swamiji, somebody was asking me if I don't know the answer, what should I do?
It doesn't matter.
No, that is the simplest thing. Pass on to the next person.
It doesn't matter. It is not necessary that everybody will know everything. That is not needed. But we have to put an effort. This is just to know that we are spending this time every week, once a week on Friday, we gather and we do this discussion, and at least it should help us in some way, because we have been living millions of lives like this. So it should show us the path. It will help us, because the spirituality manifests it will help us in all other aspects of our life, our personal life, our professional life, our social life, everywhere it will help us. When we know the reality behind what we see or what we experience, then it is easy to take what comes to us, understanding fully well the background behind it.
But
So it is very
Swamiji,
helpful.
Swamiji,
Hmm.
I am not flattering you, Swamiji, but this study circle, as I mentioned before, started on the 19th January 1971 at Shama's father's house. With the grace of Baba. Baba said that Swami's
Anugrah. Anugrah.
Anugrah. And what should I do? He asked. So Swami said that you start the study circle at your place. So this is in continuation. And without any hesitation, this is the 50th year or maybe 51st.
Golden Jubilee year.
No, yeah. But Swamiji, I'm not flattering you, but what we gain in last 15 months is we got many things before that, but this is the gist, the essence that we are getting in last 15 months, Swamiji. The excellent dishes that you have been serving us in the form of Dragdrashya Vivek, then Sat Darshanam, then Advait Makaran, then the present book. These are I think, they are the real thing, real nourishment, Swamiji, we are getting in last 15 months, Swamiji. And we are grateful to you for that.
All His grace. It is all His blessing that we all come together. And it is a good mananam, it is a good sadhana for everybody, for me, for you, and everyone. You see? So, but we have to benefit from this. Since we are putting so much effort and all that thing, we have to benefit from it. And it will benefit because this knowledge, if we keep on reflecting and contemplating, mananam and nididhyasana goes on, it will start expressing itself in all aspects of our life. And it will bring a total change. You see? And we may not know it, but others observing will say there is a change, there is a difference. The person has changed. We do not know. We'll go about it, but that is the beauty of it. And then we will start getting affected by the world around us less and less. Now what happens is that one word somebody says, we get affected. How dare she say that like that? He said like this, he said like that, he acted this way, she acted this, we get affected by that. Then slowly the outside world, the external world will not have that much effect on us. So to the extent that we are not affected by the events that are happening around us, we observe it, we are compassionate, no doubt. We are not hard-hearted or something like that. We are compassionate, and wherever it is possible, we do help, but we don't allow our mind to be affected by that. To that extent, the mind remains calm and peaceful, and we can focus on our sadhana. And the more deeper we go into that, more calm the mind will become. Less affected will be by the external world, and we'll be in our own peace. You see? So, of course, we have to deal, as long as we are living in this world, we have to deal with the external world. That has to go on. But how we allow the external world to affect us, that depends upon us. And how deep sadhana we are doing, that will help us in that. In ignorance, we allow every Tom, Dick, and Harry to affect us. Whatever they do, you get easily. Like that mimosa pudika, touch me not plant. A little touch and then it folds up. So it is like that. So when we are going deeper and deeper into our sadhana, then the external world doesn't matter to us. All the small things that used to bother us earlier, that doesn't matter to us anymore. So things are like that. And mind remains calm.
The fog which has been generated in our mind is slowly dispersing, Swamiji.
The agitations and all that thing.
Yeah. Now, Swamiji, I have one question, little out of place. A journey of a sadhak from ignorance to the bodha, aparoksha bodha. And at that time of the aparoksha bodha, sakshatkar takes place, Swamiji. And this is according to the path of inquiry or Advaita philosophy. But as I understand, Raja Yoga or Hatha Yoga, I don't know. the sadhak tries to raise the kundalini through Shushumna Nadi to Sahasradhara. And when it touches the Sahasradhara, there also he gets the Sakshatkar. Swami, I would like to know, is there any relationship between these two, or and is there these two are different?
He doesn't get Sakshatkar. The duality, sense of duality is maintained. Kundalini yoga is good and it will give some experiences. The sense of duality doesn't go by this practice of Kundalini yoga. The chakras open. Every chakra, when it opens, you have different experiences. That is fine. But experiences are all in the field of duality. Any experience that we are getting, that is in the field of duality alone. Okay. So Kundalini, when it starts awakening, when the chakra starts opening, and Kundalini awakens and chakra starts opening, each chakra gives us an experience. When experience comes, there is duality. And that is not reality. Duality is not reality. Even when the Sahasrara opens also, there is an experience. And there is a duality there. That I am there and I am experiencing the opening of the Sahasrara chakra and what experience you get there. And then the Kundalini, when it awakens and all the chakras open, they are there only temporary. They are not permanent. The experiences will not last. You see, so they are temporary. It is very clear in Bhaja Govindam Adi Shankaracharya says, Jnana vihina sarva matena bhajatina muktim janmashatena. He very clearly said, Kurute Ganga Sagara Gamnam Vrata Paripalanam Athva Danam Jnana vihina sarva matena bhajatina muktim sarva matena. Sarva matena. So here that is very important. Therefore, there are only two paths to realization of truth. One is bhakti and the other is jnana. And all other things, they will be an aid to these two paths. Karma yoga, hatha yoga, kriya yoga, kundalini yoga, and so on, ashtanga yoga, they will be an aid to these two paths, bhakti and jnana yoga. Without knowing the self, there is no moksha, there is no liberation. So awakening of kundalini and all that thing is fine. That again gives experience only. And experience, all experiences are in the field of duality. That's it. So therefore, absolute truth is non-dual, where there is no object of experience. Here, the one whose kundalini has awakened and he has opened all his chakras, his sahasras opened, and he is the one experiencing the opening of the sahasrara chakra. And then he cannot be in that experience continuously. After some time, it will go away. Every time he has to sit in that meditation to awaken the kundalini and then open the sahasrara chakra and go through that experience. He cannot be 24/7 in that. So that is not the ultimate. The ultimate is the Sahaja Samadhi, where 24/7, every moment you are in Paramanandam. You don't have to do anything. It is Sahaja. Like Ramana Maharishi was in Sahaja Samadhi, 24/7 every moment, walking, talking, eating or something like that, lying down or something like that. He is in that. He doesn't have to do. Here, to awaken the Kundalini and then to awaken Sahasrara Chakra, you have to sit specifically for that and then experience that, enjoy that, and then how long you can sit there. Then after that, sometime you leave that. Then again you have to go, and after some time it will start giving, because they are all temporary. Then it will stop giving that experience.
And what is the objective of that, doing it?
The thing is that when you are doing yoga sadhana, see, while doing yoga sadhana or any sadhana, especially yoga sadhana, it is very easy to get the siddhis in yoga sadhana. Over 2-3 months of sadhana is enough to give minor siddhis. You see? So, but then most of the people, when they get these minor siddhis, they get carried away by that. Instead of experiencing it or just seeing that, okay, there is this kind of a thing, or experimenting once, that's it, and then you have to continue. But then they get stuck with these siddhis and then they lose the track. They were on something and then they got it, and then this one siddhi, 1 or 2 minor siddhis, then he will open the shop. This is the problem. So therefore, if we don't have any, actually all the great realized masters, they had all the siddhis, but they never made an exhibition of that. This is the most important thing. They had all the siddhis, but no, they didn't make an exhibition of that. And this yoga sadhana will give minor siddhis. That Chandev Maharaj, 1400-year-old yogi, Chandev Maharaj, he had all the siddhis. His Kundalini had awakened. He had power over all the animals and birds and all the living beings and creatures, even plants and everything. He had power over that. But he didn't have Atma Bodha. After all this sadhana, for 1400 years, he was a Siddha yogi. And yet, he didn't have that knowledge. He had to come to Jnaneshwar Maharaj for this knowledge. A 14-year-old Jnaneshwar Maharaj giving teachings to a 1400-year-old Siddha yogi who had all the siddhis. He had done all the Kriya Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, Dhata Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga, and every yoga he had done. And he acquired all the siddhis and powers, and yet no knowledge. So, all the other things are fine, but without knowing the self, there is no moksha. And this is the direct path. Path of inquiry or path of knowledge, or Jnana Yoga is the direct path. Or the other option is Bhakti Yoga. These are the only two options to realize the truth. In Bhakti Yoga, there should be total samarpana. Shraddha and total samarpana.
Okay. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you.
So, before we conclude, now, of course, the Mananam and Nididhyasana has to go on. So, we'll meet on 17th September.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Swamiji,
yes.
Swamiji, you said that this realized souls don't have any prarabdha karma. And then two reasons you gave. One, because the body is jad. And the second you said is what, Swamiji?
Second, I said is Atma doesn't have any prarabdha.
Okay. This we are hearing for the first time, Swamiji, that they have only Jagat Prarabdha.
Jagat, because of Jagat Prarabdha, the body will continue.
Yeah.
And then when the Jagat Prarabdha seva is over, the body will drop.
Yeah. Yes, you are very true, because Gopal Krishna Swami often used to say, that still I have some missions to fulfill. After that, I'll leave my body. So many times he has told us, that still some more time is there, So
So that is Jagat, that is Jagat Prarabdha. So because once a person realizes the truth, his ego is dissolved. So the one who was enjoying or suffering, that entity is no more there. Okay, now he is the pure self. He is Jivan Mukta, is the pure self. His Jada body doesn't know anything. Because it is anyway insentient and inert. And Atma is pure self. It doesn't have any prarabdha. Now the body has got any prarabdha. Prarabdha is that Jiva Bhava which was identifying with that. It was his prarabdha because of his identification. Now that Jiva Bhava is not there, that ego is not there. So then whose prarabdha it is?
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Swamiji.
So, Swamiji, 17th September, right?
17th September we'll meet. Then we'll have a Mananam session.
Swamiji, now this is a very, at least 52 shlokas. So we'll be dividing every Friday, right? Amongst
So we may not be able to do it in one session, 53 shlokas, but anyway, there may not be questions on all 53 shlokas. Let us see how much we'll get. So let's see how it goes, because in Saddarshan or Advaita Makaranda, it was much, I suppose.
Okay, Swamiji.
Okay, then.
Yogi Bhai, take over.
I invoke Param Puja Gurudev's grace and blessings on all of us who are present today. May he grant us progress and success on the spiritual path as well as in our worldly life. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om. Harihi Om.